Oh, I'm in the zone now.
Are you?
I feel like I'm in the zone. I'm in the zone.
It's like doing radio with Tupac. Ooh, me against the world.
Yeah. Look at y'all lined up. BPA's victory lapping on YouTube. It's my favorite. A lot of people over at FS1, since I've been over there a few times. But anyway, a lot of those people do the same thing. They're so funny. My good friends, Rob Parker, Chris Broussard, they'll get to the end of a debate, and it's like, I won. I don't know. Did you?
He's the GOAT.
You didn't change my opinion. I didn't change yours. That sounds like a tie to me. Other than that, what decides who won a debate? I mean...
Well, a jury of your peers.
Right, except for you vote for whoever you agree with.
Well, I vote for BPA.
Of course, because you agreed with him on the way in, and you still do. So it's kind of what's happened to...
And I have a deeper affection for him than I do for you, Mark.
You've known him longer?
I usually side with who's louder.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, then I've never lost a freaking debate. Mm-hmm. Listen to this freaking pipes. It's absurd. I wish I could slow him down.
No, I said louder. Not lower.
Yeah, louder. I'm pretty loud. No?
Not longer.
I know. Sorry.
Not longer.
Sorry, you're comparing him to the other hosts at this station. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm pretty freaking quiet over here.
Soft-spoken.
2 to 6 is the library on this station.
No doubt, right?
Shh.
Exactly. I want to go back to the playoffs.
I mean... No, it's just funny.
Kidding? Listen to me. My gosh. It's nauseating.
Totally.
My gosh.
Totally.
It's the only 4-letter word you use.
Talk.
Gosh.
Yep. Well, and then that time that I called the Giants chicken bleep.
Yeah. Within an hour, though, you had backed off of that. They're risk averse, which... is a classier way to say they're chicken bleep.
They're risk averse.
You could have doubled down and gone all in, but then...
I thought that was a very fair criticism.
That they were risk averse?
Yes.
Chicken bleep is better.
Right, but
it
they
resonates a little bit stronger.
But they are. They're risk averse, or they have been. But
and this is why Brian and Palo Alto won the argument, because they are risk averse, and even when they take a risk, they don't close. Farhan doesn't close.
Okay, but
and
that
you can
wasn't
Carlos Correa me until the cows come home.
You and I are disagreeing because that wasn't even his argument. He wasn't arguing that Farhan can't close.
He was saying that players don't want to come here.
But Carlos picked the Giants.
Did they offer him more money, or was it an equal, flat level offer from the competitive team?
Don't know. Right. I mean, there's reports out there that there were other offers on the table that were commensurate.
Right.
I don't know, though. I mean, how do we ever know? I don't know what was exactly on the table.
Stuff gets leaked.
Yeah. We've been told that Aaron Judge had the same offer from the Yankees and the Giants. We've also been told that the Padres offered more. Now, it was over 87 years.
Right.
But there was a bigger total.
So every deal's not created equally.
Of course. I mean, this is kind of what's happened to media in our world. This is why the whole Fox News, CNN thing is what it is. Nobody's winning the debate. You're just signing up to listen to what you already agree with. So that's fine. I've never cared who agrees.
I scored that one 10-9 for BPA. It was a 10-9 round. Wasn't it 10-8?
I lost my
it's a 10-9.
Lost my scorecard. Yeah. Well,
we'll go to Harold Lederer for the scorecards. Okay. I tell you what, Jim.
See, I would actually also argue that you can't even have a scorecard yet because we're talking about this offseason.
We're talking about so far in the Farhan era.
No, we're not.
That's what he was talking about.
The words were, no one's gonna come here. That's a predictive, futuristic statement. So, don't I win if Yamamoto signs? I told him he's got to call back now. I already told him.
He'll call back.
I said, BPA, you can go to bed with that one. You won.
You said that on YouTube?
Oh, I told him. You take that one to bed.
That?
Yeah. I have no idea how two people can share two separate opinions and someone walks away winning unless you changed the other person's mind. I did not change his, and he did not change mine. The Giants are not the dregs of baseball.
I don't think he said that they're the dregs of baseball.
This is the thing.
The A's are the dregs of baseball.
Well, hold on now. We're talking about the people who are actually trying here. So, to me, the A's are not even in Major League Baseball. Sorry, I didn't do it. Get mad at me if you want. It's not my fault. It's his. They're not even playing. So, if you don't sit down at the table, then you don't get discussed. They've never offered anybody anything. So why would we even talk about that?
Right.
But we're talking
But
about
that's the dregs of baseball.
Fine, but we're talking about the teams that are trying. We're talking about the brands who've been successful in baseball, and it feels to me, and I'm actually just exploring here, and we're going to go to the phones here because I think a lot of people want to weigh in on this.
People coming for you.
It feels to me like a lot of Giants fans. I want to make sure I'm clear here. If you feel this way, I support you. I totally get it. If you think the Giants are a bunch of cheap chumps, I got you. You got all kinds of reasons to feel that way. My contention is not that you shouldn't feel that way. My contention is that I don't think players think that. I don't think the players around baseball think the Giants are a joke. I think we think that, and I get it.
I don't think that they think that they're a joke, but they're just constantly the second choice.
But again, if we're just looking at the player perspective, we can't go with the whole they never got anyone because Carlos picked them. So that's a top-level free agent who said yes. And the argument seems to continually be, you've heard it, you've said it.
Yeah.
No one's going to come here.
No.
Okay.
Haniger came.
That's different. We're talking about
Stripling came. And Manaea came.
Talking about the top of the market.
Right.
And I would argue that Carlos did come from the player perspective.
Fine.
And I would also argue that I'll bet anyone who wants to right now that the Giants are not showing up to Arizona empty-handed with the top of the market.
And we've already defined the top of the market as like 6 guys. And we threw in Pete Alonso as a trade target.
And then the names that we don't know. I mean, I don't know if another top name is going to be. What if Mike Trout gets traded? We're not even thinking about that.
Right.
What if it happens?
It's possible.
Right?
He would be top of the market.
That counts. So
that absolutely counts.
Okay. So there's some fill in.
But there's only a small handful of names.
Yeah.
Like if Aaron Judge gets traded, okay, that counts. If the Yankees decide to move off of Judge.
Yeah.
There are some names out there that would qualify, but until he gets it done, I feel comfortable being in the camp of he can't get it done because he hasn't gotten it done.
I totally get it.
And Carlos Correa didn't come here. And maybe he wanted to.
He picked the Giants.
But he didn't play for the Giants.
I understand that. I don't want to do that.
We can do this dance.
We've done it too many times.
Because I've looked at the baseball reference and the stats do not say SFG next to it.
I don't want to do the semantics. Carlos picked the Giants. So to me, that totally throws out the whole no one would come here argument that people say because the man had his family, a hotel room, and a suit all picked out, and then the Giants are the ones who bailed on him and left him at the altar.
To me, and that's an even more damning part of this conversation.
Totally fair.
Because he got cold feet. Farhan got cold feet, and he pulled out on the deal after finally landing a big fish. Yeah. He threw him back.
That's fine. And again, what fascinates me is the idea of let's focus on that sentence. No one would come here. That's what I hear. That's what I hear a lot. And that's what I don't agree with. Let's go to Richie in Queens. Hey, Richie, what's going on? You're on with Willard and Dibs.
Hey, how are you guys?
What's up?
Yeah, I'll tell you what's up. I called up to hope to get a little dabble with the Giants, and it's been fascinating. Obviously, I'm a big Giant fan and waited 52 years until they won in 2010. I don't go along with the premise that nobody wants to sign with them. I do think that they haven't had a long-term contract, and I don't know how long.
Yep.
Everything is 2 years, Mitch Haniger and Conforto. And, Yamamoto coming here would be a nice piece, but, they need so much more. Their top home run hitter was 23, Wilmer Flores. Their top RBI guy was 69 with J.D. Davis. So I think the agent's going to look and say, hey, yeah, because I think the offer, and, I'm hearing a lot of stuff over here on the East Coast, guys, that the Yankees are really going to empty their pocketbooks, and they're looking to get Soto and Yamamoto. So the Giants are going to be up against it, and I think he's going to have his pick about how much money he gets, but I think he might want to go to a team that has a high-profile player like a Judge. And unfortunately, we do not have that. So I think we need, obviously, a lot of help at this particular point. And I want to see them open their pocketbooks. I want to see them go for a 6 or 7 year term. You mentioned Logan Webb. I love him. The other fellow that you mentioned, Duvall. Duvall killed us. Duvall was the reason we didn't get into the playoffs. He blew 9 out of the last 13 saves. So I'd like to think he's still our answer, but again, when you look at our team, and you mentioned Chapman, I think Chapman's a version of J.D. Davis. I'd like to see get Bellinger. I think Bellinger would be a big help, as much as I hate the Dodgers, but he would be a help for us. And obviously getting a pitcher. But I agree. I agree with you. I can't say that nobody wants to come to the Giants. I think the Giants are, 3 championships in 3 years. I think 5 years, people remember that. So,
well, not just that, Richie. Yeah, thanks. That's a good call. No one is arguing that the Giants.
Yamamoto was 15 years old the last time the Giants won the World Series.
Yeah, see, I don't even think that's what it's about. What I think you guys are all underrating is the color of money. Very rarely.
But it's not the end-all, be-all in free agency, as we've discussed.
It usually is.
Well, if there is an offer that's close or commensurate, to use your word, to use a word, then you're going to pick a team with a better fit.
Then don't be commensurate.
Well, have they ever not been commensurate?
But this is a different year.
That's what you're saying, but until they do it, I don't believe it.
Right, except for what I think is, it's funny. I do think we can circle this argument to a spot where it lands in the same place. I think the Giants feel all of your anger.
Yeah. I'm not angry.
Well, not you. Everybody.
Sports angry.
The Giants feel their fan base's distaste right now.
Right.
And that is what is going to make them, in my opinion, offer things that they haven't offered before. I also have heard them say about 78 times this offseason, we're going to offer a bunch of things that we haven't offered before.
Right.
Like they've said it. The whole new coaching staff has come in and they're like, we really value starting pitchers going innings. We really value a rotation.
No more openers?
No, the Giants are there's going to be a pivot to a degree. I think that there's going to be a debate. There might actually be, someone might throw a cell phone in the clubhouse because there's an argument between Bob Melvin and Farhan Zaidi about how to go about a lineup on a given day or something. I think that there's a healthy debate that's going to go on inside the organization because you have to. When you fail, you have to review what you do. That's how it works in any business. They're failing.
Yeah.
So they got to do it different.
Well, they know what the fix is, but I don't know if they can execute it.
That's fair. We'll see. But I have a hard time believing that players are just going to turn down the most money because they're like, the Giants? You mean that team that had the good-looking GQ manager who kept pulling his pitchers? Not going there.
Well, fortunately, he's not here anymore, so that is not going to be a deterrent because I think it is a deterrent, and we talked about it last year when you have a manager who is constantly shuffling the lineup and constantly pulling pitchers. If you're a baseball player and you fancy yourself as an everyday guy, do you want to come and play in that construct? Probably not. And now that he's gone and Bob Melvin's in here, a good old-fashioned baseball guy, maybe the notion of this team has changed. But until you're able to go out there and show me that you can really live and thrive at the top of the market, I'm going to take a wait-and-see attitude.
And that's totally fair. I absolutely 100%. Again, my argument tonight is that players are not saying, I'm not going there. The whole nobody's going to come here thing. If you rephrase it like you are and say the Giants won't close, that to me is a completely different opinion. You might be right. You might be right, and they'll pay the price for it if they don't. But the idea that players are out there on the open market thinking that the Giants are not a viable place to make money and play baseball, and especially as a pitcher succeed, to me, that's where I disagree. You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. It's Willard and Dibs. Really glad you're with us tonight. We'll keep taking your calls. Eugene on 85. Hey, Eugene, what's up?
Hey, what's up, boys? I don't want to pull the psychologist cap. I'm going to pull it to Brian, to Dibs, especially Steiny, who's not here.
He's here.
It's a heavy defense mechanism, right? We've been hurt as fans, so we want to get cynical so that we don't get hurt again. I totally understand that, but we're talking like we're the A's. No one's coming. I think we have 3 trips in the last decade. I'm not saying that's everything, but we can't talk like a poverty franchise. One objective thing I want to bring up as a Korean American, I think not having a legacy Asian player for the Giants is so helpful because a lot of these Asian guys, Lee, Shohei, Yamamoto, I think they're really proud, right, of their heritage.
Yep.
I think seeing the Giants as like a team that they can kind of turn into a Japanese fandom or Korean fandom is huge. So I just want to give some hope. Let's not get too cynical and hopefully just wish for the best.
Yeah, that's an interesting take. Thanks, Eugene. I also
it's not
think,
about feelings for me. It's about track record. If he can put the psychology aside.
But it is for some. I agree.
Right.
Yeah, it definitely
for me, it's
is for
more
some.
about, this regime and what they have and haven't done. And what they haven't done is what we all are waiting for them to actually do. So it's less about the feelings of being hurt. There is some of that about, getting your hopes up for Aaron Judge and going to his hometown and doing a live show in the middle of nowhere in Linden.
Total defense mechanism.
I get that, but to me, it's more analytically about track record and the fact that they've never inked anyone to a long-term deal until they signed Logan Webb to a 5-year contract. That's the first time they've done it, and that was their own guy. So they haven't gone out in the free agent market and extended a big, long offer to anyone. Yeah. And had it be signed.
Right. So again, I think where you're coming from, that I totally understand. If you want to be skeptical about this regime, it's hard for me to argue that now. I don't fully agree. I don't see it that way. We know that. That's a well-traveled conversation. I totally get where you're coming from. What I don't understand is when fans say it from the player perspective, as if players see the Giants as a lesser than destination in the landscape of Major League Baseball. I'm pretty sure I can factually blow that argument up. Like that's not what's going on. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being a free agent in an industry where there's a major market destination spot with recent success, but also maybe more importantly, a track record of treating their players and their families well, and being in one of the top 6 or 7 markets in all of America, having one of the top probably 4 or 5 ballparks, if not better. All of that.
For pitchers.
Yeah, but
not for a hitter.
But that's in terms of stats. I'm talking about even just in terms of setting and aesthetics. All of these things. Can you imagine being on the open market and your goal is, I want to get the best contract available. Oh, but not there.
But then why don't they sign these guys?
Because they haven't been offering it. They haven't been offering the best deal.
And then that to me is the biggest question as to why haven't they offered the best deal?
I would argue that
if you're a preeminent destination and you're offering deals that are at least competitive, why are you missing out every single year?
I would argue there's only been 2. And we know this. Another well-traveled conversation. The Giants have been risk-averse. They have not wanted to do long-term deals. It is a strategy that has backfired.
And you think that the strategy now will be shelved by a guy who's never extended anyone outside of Logan Webb to a long-term deal?
100%.
So now Farhan has woken up from his his dumpster diving and his thrift store shopping.
Nope.
And now he's going to go out there and extend.
No, he didn't wake up. He got threatened.
He got an extension.
Dude, he's going to get fired if this doesn't go well in the next 2 years.
He got an extension.
Yes, because he had to. You can't go sign Shohei Ohtani and Yamamoto if you replace your GM 4 days before it starts. You can't do that.
You fire the manager and you keep the president of baseball ops and you give him 2 more years and you think that's threatening?
I think that you are underrating the situation the Giants are in, and you're not seeing the desperation that they're facing.
I think you're overrating their desperation and their response.
Oh, we'll see.
We will see here. And the winter meetings are underway, and not much has really happened. The Juan Soto trade today is the first real big
not done yet,
domino. It's close to being finalized as we sit here at 4:08 Pacific time. But I do think that you're overstating their desperation and you're overstating their response. And we're gonna find out.
Totally will. But
which is exciting.
I would argue that there's only 2 players where they've really waltzed into the party and offered the most money. And in one of them they only tied. And that was Aaron Judge and Carlos Correa. And one of them chose to use his number 1 baseball brand to match the Giants offer and stay. And the other one said yes. Now, I get it. I get all the context.
And you don't go to Bryce Harper as one that...
they didn't have the best offer. Phillies offered more money.
But the point is wading into the deep pool and not getting it done.
Offer the most money.
Right, but why haven't they done that? That's my question.
Because they have been risk averse.
Because he is risk averse.
I'm not putting this on one person.
Well, he's the one responsible, right?
As is the ownership, yes. But they have been risk averse, and if you don't think that they are strategically changing, at least attempting to change the strategy this offseason as opposed to those in the past, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, you're asking me to take a leap of faith that they have made any change, and I have not seen anything concrete, tangible, signed.
Of course not. We haven't started yet.
Exactly.
Nobody's signed.
And so we'll see.
Yeah.
Go out there and show me.
But again,
I see an ownership that says we want to break even, and I see a president of baseball ops who is Rule 5'd and dumpster dived his whole time here.
I'm not backing any of that, though. Again, we get to this conversation by me saying I don't think that you fans should think that players don't want to play here. That's the perception I keep hearing. That's what I disagree with. I can't argue away whether or not they're going to get someone or if you like Farhan's approach or this ownership. I know most people don't. And I don't like the results either, obviously.
Yeah.
Been a losing team the last 2 years. They stink and they're disinterested. Like, who the hell would argue for that?
Right.
But I think that we've taken that emotion, we've taken that downer, and we have now transferred it to actual professionals who don't live here or care about who they're playing for. They want the best deal. So the argument that this down run for the Giants has led to players around the league going, the Giants, I wouldn't even wash my shoes in that building. That's what I disagree with.
Okay. And
I think people will take their money if they offer it.
It's unprovable. And no player's going to ever come out and say what you are implying that some fans think that they believe. No player's going to ever come out and say, I'm not going to San Francisco.
No, but their actions would say it. Like, you'll get that report. I mean, like, I'm waiting for the report where it's like Yamamoto went to the Yankees for $50 million less. The Giants offered him $50 million more. And he said no, because they're a dump. That's what I think a lot of fans feel right now. That's what I don't think is reality.
It doesn't matter. The reality is you have not landed anyone. So whether or not it's the perception of players not wanting to come or the offer not being big enough or a combination of the two, the ballpark being too big for hitters, whatever the reasons are, the bottom line is they have failed to bring these players in. So to me,
I don't disagree.
It doesn't even matter if it's player perception or what the fans think. To me, it's the bottom line where you have not done it. Conforto and Haniger as your big prize catches last year, it's not enough.
Yeah, but you're going with data, and I'm going with perception. It's
results versus process.
And that's fine. No, but you're talking about results, and I'm talking about the future. I would get concerned if players started turning down more money to go elsewhere. That's when I would get incredibly concerned, and obviously people would lose their job.